Imagine right now a disaster strikes. How prepared are you? Disasters, both natural and man-made, are a stark reality of our world. They can strike without warning, and when they do, they can render our everyday conveniences obsolete in an instant. The fact is, it's not a question of if, but when. Whether it's a hurricane, an earthquake, a pandemic, or a power grid failure, the aftermath can be just as devastating as the event itself, if not more. The key to survival is not just reacting when disaster strikes, but proactively preparing for it. This brings us to a crucial point. There are 17 essential items that you might not be able to get your hands on when disaster strikes. These items can make the difference between mere survival and thriving in a post-disaster world. So what are these vital items that you just can't get in the coming disaster? Let's delve in. Scene script. Item 1, clean water. Without it, survival is merely a dream. Water is the sustainer of life, the most basic and crucial resource for human survival. A person can only survive for about 3 days without it. In a disaster situation, clean drinking water might not always be readily available. Having a supply of clean water or the means to purify it is a top priority. The second essential item is non-perishable food. In times of disaster, access to fresh food may be cut off. Non-perishable food items like canned goods, dried fruits, and nuts can provide the necessary energy and nutrients to keep you going. Next, we have shelter. A disaster can leave your home uninhabitable or even completely destroyed. Having a temporary shelter like a tent or a tarp can protect you from the elements and provide a sense of security. The fourth item on our list is a first aid kit. Injuries are common during disasters, and medical help may not be immediately available. A well-stocked first aid kit can be a lifesaver, literally. It should include bandages, antiseptics, pain relievers, and any necessary prescription medications. Lastly, we have communication devices. In a disaster, it is crucial to stay informed about the situation and to be able to call for help if needed. A hand crank or solar-powered radio can provide updates and emergency instructions. A charged mobile phone, preferably with a backup power source, can be used to call for help or to check on loved ones. These are just the first 5 essential items for survival in a disaster situation. They may seem basic, but their importance cannot be overstated. Clean water, non-perishable food, shelter, a first aid kit, and communication devices are the foundation of any disaster preparedness plan. These are just the first 5 items, but there's more, much more. Item 6, a source of light, because when disaster strikes, darkness is not your friend. When the power goes out, the world plunges into a chilling blackness that can turn even the familiar into the unknown. A reliable and durable source of light, such as a solar-powered lantern or a hand-crank flashlight, can be a beacon of hope in the darkest hours. Next up, we have fire starters. A campfire isn't just for marshmallows and spooky stories, it's a lifeline in a disaster. It provides warmth, a way to cook food, and a deterrent against wild animals. Without matches, lighters, or a fire starter kit, you might find yourself in a cold and hungry predicament. Item 8 is a multi-tool. This is the Swiss Army knife of survival items. It's a knife, a can opener, a pair of pliers, and more, all wrapped up in one compact package. With a multi-tool in your pocket, you'll feel like you've got a tiny toolbox at your disposal. On to item 9. In a world without GPS and Google Maps, a physical map and compass become essential. They might seem old-fashioned, but these tools will keep you on track when digital devices fail. Item 10 is personal hygiene items. In a disaster, cleanliness isn't just about comfort, it's about staying healthy. Hand sanitizer, soap, toothpaste, and other personal care items can prevent illness and infection, helping you stay strong when you need it most. Last but not least, we have cash or barter items. When the power grid is down, your credit cards and online banking won't be of any use. Cash is king in a disaster, and if cash isn't an option, having items to barter can make all the difference. Things like canned food, batteries, and even toilet paper can become valuable commodities in a crisis. But we're not done yet. Let's continue. Item 12, personal protection, because in a disaster it's every man for himself. Now this isn't meant to incite panic or paranoia, it's simply about being prepared and ensuring your safety. You don't have to go full Rambo, but having something like pepper spray, a sturdy pocket knife, or even a whistle to signal for help can make a big difference. Moving along to item 13, a sturdy backpack. This is your lifeline, your mobile storage unit. It needs to be durable, comfortable, and spacious enough to carry your essentials. Look for something with multiple compartments and adjustable straps. Remember, you might be carrying this for hours on end, so comfort is key. Next up, item 14, a survival guide. Knowledge is power, folks. A good survival guide can teach you how to find food, build shelter, and navigate your way to safety. In a disaster scenario, Google won't always be there to save the day. Item 15, vital documents. Your passport, driver's license, birth certificate, medical records, these are all essential. Keep them safe and easily accessible. You never know when you might need to prove your identity or reference your medical history. On to item 16, spare clothing. It may seem obvious, but it's often overlooked. Pack a few changes of clothes suitable for all weather conditions. Staying dry and warm can be the difference between life and death. Finally, item 17, comfort items. This could be a favorite book, a family photo, a deck of cards, something to keep your spirits up. In a disaster, mental resilience is just as important as physical strength. And there you have it, the 17 items you can't get in the coming disaster. These aren't just things, they're lifelines, tools to not only survive but to keep your sanity intact. Because when disaster strikes, it's not just about making it through the day, it's about making it through the day with hope for tomorrow. Having these items is one thing. Knowing how to use them is another. Just as a carpenter needs to know how to wield a hammer, we too must be adept at using our survival tools. The most sophisticated gear in the world is useless in the hands of someone who doesn't understand its function or purpose. Let's consider a simple example. A compass. It's a small, unassuming device, but it can mean the difference between life and death in a survival situation. If you don't understand the basic principles of navigation, a compass is nothing more than a pretty trinket. It's not the compass that will save you, it's the knowledge of how to use it. The same principle applies to all our survival items. A water purifier can provide us with clean drinking water, but only if we know how to operate it. A first aid kit can treat injuries and prevent infections, but only if we understand basic medical procedures. A fire starter can keep us warm and cook our food, but only if we've mastered the art of fire making. This is why preparation is so crucial. It's not enough to merely possess these items. We must also have the skills and knowledge to use them effectively. We must practice using our gear, familiarize ourselves with its quirks and features. We must research and educate ourselves, learn from experts, and constantly strive to improve our survival skills. And we must plan. We must think ahead, anticipate potential disasters and challenges, and devise strategies to overcome them. We must consider every possible scenario, every variable, every twist of fate. We must be prepared to adapt, to improvise, to endure. The world is full of uncertainty, but one thing is certain: those who are prepared have a far greater chance of survival. So let's not just collect survival items, let's master them. Let's become experts in our own survival. Remember, preparation is the key to survival. This is your wake-up call. The time to prepare is now. We've shared with you 17 essential items you might not be able to get when disaster strikes. These aren't just items to make life more comfortable. These are the items that could make the difference between life and death. Start your preparations today. Begin collecting these items, storing them safely for when the unthinkable happens. By being prepared, you're not just increasing your chances of survival, you're also ensuring you can help others when they most need it. And we're here to guide you every step of the way. We've got more survival tips, more essential lists, more valuable knowledge to share. So if you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated. Until next time, stay prepared, stay vigilant, and most importantly, stay alive.